Secret Wars refers to two major Marvel Comics crossover events, the first in 1984 and the second in 2015, each with distinct narratives and impacts on the Marvel Universe. The original Secret Wars, 1984, written by Jim Shooter with art by Mike Zeck and Bob Layton, was created to promote a toy line. It begins when a cosmic entity known as the Beyonder transports Earth's heroes and villains to a distant planet called Battleworld. The Beyonder, fascinated by the conflict between good and evil, pits the two sides against each other, promising to grant the victors their greatest desires. The heroes, including the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, face off against villains like Doctor Doom, Magneto, and the Lizard. Over the course of the series, alliances shift, and Doctor Doom ultimately steals the Beyonder's power, becoming nearly omnipotent before being defeated. The event is notable for introducing Spider-Man's black symbiote suit, which later becomes Venom, and for its exploration of character dynamics under extreme pressure. Secret Wars 2 began in July 1985 as a 9-issue limited crossover centered on the Beyonder, an overwhelmingly powerful cosmic entity. This sequel follows the Beyonder's arrival on Earth after the first Secret Wars event. In issue number 1, the Beyonder seeks to understand humanity by experiencing basic actions like eating, working a job for a mobster, and forming personal attachments. He then shifts between human forms, using one resembling Captain America and another based on Molecule Man. He leaves chaos in his wake by turning a building into gold after learning about wealth, and later briefly restores and removes Daredevil's sight to explore morality. Issues number 2 to 6 show escalating mishaps as the Beyonder tests power and desire. He attempts relationships with Dazzler and Boom Boom, kills and resurrects the New Mutants, and confronts cosmic and mystical figures including Mephisto and Molecule Man. This period includes confrontations with Hulk, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. Issue number 7 sees his growing dissatisfaction, leading to threats of universal destruction. He tries to make himself mortal but remains dangerously unstable. In issue number 8, Molecule Man attacks and defeats his human form, ending his connection with Earth while proving the limits of even cosmic power. Issue number 9 concludes the crossover. The Beyonder departs Earth, having briefly embodied human experience but failing to understand permanence. In a later epilogue, it is revealed that he was an evolved version of a cosmic cube named Cosmos. The event reshaped Marvel crossover structure by tying nearly every title into one storyline. Acts of Vengeance, 1989 to 1990, is a Marvel crossover event centered on a large-scale villain alliance led by Loki, a powerful sorcerer and the adopted brother of Thor. Loki manipulates several major villains into working together, convincing them to swap enemies to exploit weaknesses. The main conspirators include Doctor Doom, the ruler of Latveria with advanced technology and sorcery; Magneto, a master of magnetism and a leader of mutant kind; Kingpin, a crime lord with immense resources and influence; Red Skull, a former Nazi officer with vast strategic intelligence; and Mandarin, a warlord wielding 10 alien rings that grant various abilities. This plan leads to unexpected battles, with villains targeting heroes they have never faced before. Spider-Man, a superhuman with agility and web-shooting abilities, is attacked by Magneto's forces. Captain America fights against Red Skull's new schemes. Thor battles Juggernaut, an unstoppable force empowered by mystical energies. The X-Men, a team of mutants with extraordinary abilities, are hunted by new foes rather than their usual adversaries. While the villains initially gain the upper hand, the heroes adapt to these new threats. Loki's true motives are eventually revealed. He aims to weaken Earth's defenders so he can take control unchallenged. However, his manipulation is exposed, leading to infighting among the villains. The alliance collapses, and the heroes defeat their attackers. The event highlights the adaptability of Earth's heroes and reinforces the idea that teamwork and strategy can overcome even the most calculated threats. Acts of Vengeance also paves the way for future conflicts among Marvel's most dangerous villains and their ongoing battles against the world's greatest champions. The Infinity Gauntlet is a major crossover event in Marvel Comics. First published in 1991, written by Jim Starlin with art by George Perez and Ron Lim. The story revolves around Thanos, a powerful cosmic warlord who seeks ultimate power by collecting the 6 Infinity Gems: time, space, mind, soul, reality, and power. These gems, when combined and wielded within the Infinity Gauntlet, grant the user near omnipotent control over all aspects of existence. Thanos' goal is to use this power to impress Death, a personified entity he is infatuated with, by erasing half of all life in the universe. The event begins with Thanos already in possession of the Gauntlet, having secretly gathered the gems off-panel. His first act is to wipe out half of all life in the universe with a snap of his fingers, causing widespread devastation and drawing the attention of Earth's heroes and cosmic entities alike. The surviving heroes, including the Avengers, Silver Surfer, and Doctor Strange, band together to confront Thanos, but they are vastly outmatched by his godlike abilities. Thanos effortlessly defeats them, showcasing the Gauntlet's power by by altering reality, manipulating time, and even resurrecting his deceased loved ones to torment them. As the conflict escalates, cosmic beings such as Eternity, Galactus, and the Living Tribunal intervene, recognizing the threat Thanos poses to the multiverse. However, even these entities fall before the Gauntlet's might. Thanos ultimately transcends his physical form, merging with the universe itself. Meanwhile, his granddaughter Nebula, whom he had tortured and left for dead, seizes an opportunity to steal the Gauntlet while Thanos is distracted. She reverses his actions, restoring the universe to its previous state, but her inexperience with the Gauntlet's power creates new chaos. The heroes, now aided by Adam Warlock, a cosmic strategist with a deep understanding of the gems, devise a plan to reclaim the Gauntlet. Warlock's knowledge proves crucial as he orchestrates a final confrontation with Nebula, who is eventually overpowered. In the end, the Gauntlet is taken by Warlock, who distributes the gems among trusted allies to prevent their misuse. The event concludes with the universe restored, but the lingering threat of the Infinity Gems remains, setting the stage for future storylines. The Infinity Gauntlet is notable for its exploration of power, morality, and the consequences of absolute control. It also serves as a pivotal moment in Marvel's cosmic narrative, influencing characters like Thanos, Warlock, and Nebula for decades. The event's impact extends beyond comics, inspiring adaptations in other media, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where the Infinity Gauntlet storyline plays a central role in films like Avengers, Infinity War 2018, and Avengers Endgame 2019. Infinity War 1992 is a Marvel crossover event that follows Adam Warlock, a cosmic being connected to the Soul Gem, one of the 6 Infinity Gems that control aspects of reality. The story begins when Thanos, a powerful warlord obsessed with power, detects a new cosmic threat. This threat is the Magus, a dark manifestation of Adam Warlock's suppressed evil, who seeks to reshape the universe by creating twisted doppelgangers of Earth's heroes and gaining control of the Infinity Gems. The conflict draws in major heroes, including Spider-Man, a web-slinging crime fighter with enhanced agility and spider sense, Captain America, a super soldier and master tactician, Iron Man, a billionaire genius wearing advanced armor, Thor, the Norse god of thunder wielding Mjolnir, Hulk, a giant whose strength increases with rage, and Doctor Strange, the sorcerer supreme who wields immense mystical power. Other groups such as the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and cosmic beings like Eternity, the personification of the universe, and the Living Tribunal, the supreme cosmic judge, also take part. The Magus manipulates events from the shadows, using the power of the Infinity Gems to spread chaos and deceive heroes and villains alike. Thanos, despite his past as a major threat, recognizes the greater danger and allies with Adam Warlock to stop the Magus from achieving total domination. As reality begins to unravel, a final battle ensues across multiple dimensions, leading to Adam Warlock outwitting the Magus and trapping him within the Soul Gem. With the Magus defeated, balance is restored, but lingering threats remain, setting the stage for future cosmic conflicts such as Infinity Crusade 1993. The event reinforces the significance of the Infinity Gems and the immense power they hold, shaping many future battles in the Marvel Universe. Infinity Crusade 1993 is a 6-issue Marvel Comics event that follows the aftermath of Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War. The storyline revolves around Adam Warlock, a cosmic being who was created to combat Thanos. Warlock is split into 2 parts, one embodying pure evil, known as Magus, and the other embodying pure good, known as the Goddess. The Goddess, an incarnation of Warlock's purity, seeks to impose her version of balance on the universe. By eliminating both good and evil forces she sees as extreme. She believes that the universe would be perfected by the removal of these elements, and tries to achieve this by using the Infinity Gauntlet to manipulate reality. She gathers an army of heroic characters like Thor, Storm, Doctor Strange, Hercules, and others to help carry out her plan, believing they are aligned with her goals of righteousness. Meanwhile, Warlock, who has rejected the path of pure goodness, leads a group of heroes that includes Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Silver Surfer, opposing the Goddess. Thanos, who has previously wielded the Infinity Gauntlet, becomes a reluctant ally to the heroes despite his unpredictable nature. Both sides fight for control of the Cosmic Egg, a powerful artifact that can reshape the universe and plays a central role in the conflict. The event is marked by intense cosmic battles across different dimensions, with the heroes trying to stop the Goddess from altering reality. As the story progresses, Adam Warlock manages to outmaneuver the Goddess, trapping her in the Soul Gem, thus restoring balance and ending the crisis. Maximum Carnage 1993 is a Marvel crossover event centered on Carnage, a homicidal villain bonded to a red symbiote who escapes from Ravencroft Institute, a facility for the criminally insane. He assembles a group of killers, including Shriek, a woman with sonic scream abilities, Demogoblin, a demonic glider-riding attacker, Carrion, a being with a deadly touch, and Doppelganger, a monstrous version of Spider-Man with razor-sharp claws. Their goal is to terrorize New York City, leaving destruction in their path. Spider-Man attempts to stop them, but struggles against the overwhelming force. Venom, an anti-hero with a black symbiote that grants him superhuman abilities and immunity to Spider-Man's spider sense, joins the fight, seeking revenge against Carnage. Black Cat, a skilled martial artist with bad luck powers. Captain America, Iron Fist, a martial artist channeling mystical energy into his fists. Cloak, a vigilante who can teleport enemies into a dark dimension. And Dagger, a light-powered hero capable of healing and creating energy daggers, also assist in battling Carnage's group. The conflict spreads across the city, as Carnage and his allies cause chaos, while Spider-Man and his team struggle with their morals, debating whether they should use lethal force. Venom, driven by his personal vendetta, insists that killing Carnage is the only solution, while Spider-Man refuses to cross that line. The battle ends when the heroes overpower Carnage's group, with Venom delivering the final blow. Carnage is eventually subdued and returned to Ravencroft, but the destruction left behind cements him as one of Spider-Man's most dangerous enemies. The Clone Saga, 1994 to 1996, is a major Marvel Comics storyline that revolves around the discovery of Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker, and the subsequent fallout of his existence. The saga begins with the revelation that Miles Warren, a geneticist, created multiple clones of Peter Parker years earlier. Reilly, who had been living in exile, returns to New York, claiming to be the original Spider-Man and that Peter Parker is the clone. This sparks a conflict between the two, with Peter Parker asserting his identity while Ben Reilly grapples with his own purpose. The saga also introduces Kane, another clone of Peter Parker, who is physically deformed and unstable. Kane becomes an antagonist to both Peter and Ben, believing that the clones are inferior to the original. Mary Jane Watson and Aunt May also play significant roles, dealing with the emotional and personal impact of the Clone Saga on their lives. Additionally, Gwen Stacy, a pivotal figure in Peter's past, is revealed to have been a part of Warren's cloning experiments, adding further complications to Peter's sense of identity and legacy. The saga culminates in a confrontation between the clones and Peter, ultimately leading to the death of Ben Reilly, who sacrifices himself to save Peter and restore balance. Age of Apocalypse, 1995, is a crossover event in which Charles Xavier, a telepathic mutant who advocates for peaceful coexistence between humans and mutants as Professor X, is accidentally killed in the past, creating an alternate timeline where Apocalypse, an ancient mutant with vast abilities and a philosophy of survival through strength, rules the world. This change occurs when David Haller, a reality-warping telepath and the son of Charles Xavier, travels back in time intending to eliminate Eric Laneshare, a magnetic-powered mutant known as Magneto, to prevent future conflicts, but mistakenly kills Charles Xavier instead. With Charles Xavier gone, Eric Laneshare leads the X-Men, a resistance group fighting against Apocalypse's dictatorship. This version of the team includes Logan, a mutant with enhanced senses and an unbreakable skeleton known as Weapon X, Jean Grey, a powerful telekinetic and telepath, Aurora Munro, a weather-controlling mutant called Storm, and Pyotr Rasputin, a metal-skinned powerhouse known as Colossus. Apocalypse divides his forces into ruling factions, assigning his horsemen with specific tasks. Warren Worthington III, a winged mutant transformed into a deadly combatant, becomes Death, while Henry McCoy, a scientist with superhuman agility known as Beast, mutates further into a sadistic geneticist experimenting on captives. Remy LeBeau, a kinetic energy-wielding mutant called Gambit, forms his own group, the Externals, to recover a powerful artifact, the Macron Crystal, capable of restoring reality. Nathan Summers, a cybernetically enhanced mutant warrior known as Cable, leads the remaining human resistance in a desperate battle against Apocalypse's forces. With the timeline collapsing, Bishop, a time-displaced mutant with energy absorption abilities, retains memories of the original reality and works with Eric Lenshare's team to undo the changes. A climactic battle occurs in Apocalypse's stronghold as Magneto and his allies fight to hold off the tyrant's forces long enough for the timeline to be restored. The conflict ends when Bishop successfully resets history, erasing Apocalypse's rule and restoring the original timeline, leaving only lingering consequences from the altered events. The Onslaught Saga, 1996 to 1997, is a crossover event in which Charles Xavier, a telepathic mutant known for leading the X-Men, accidentally creates Onslaught, a powerful entity formed from his suppressed darkness, merging with the consciousness of Eric Lenshare, a mutant with control over magnetism known as Magneto. Onslaught emerges after Charles Xavier erases Eric Lenshare's mind during a battle, unknowingly absorbing his aggression and willpower. The entity possesses vast psionic abilities, reality warping warping power, and an intense hatred for humanity and mutants alike. Onslaught begins manipulating events in secret, capturing Franklin Richards, a child with immense reality-altering potential and the son of Reed Richards and Susan Storm, who are members of the Fantastic Four. He also takes control of Nate Gray, a powerful telepath and telekinetic known as X-Man, intending to use their abilities to reshape existence. After revealing himself, Onslaught wages war against Earth's heroes, including Steve Rogers, a super soldier known as Captain America, Tony Stark, an armored genius called Iron Man, Thor, the god of thunder wielding Mjolnir, Bruce Banner, a scientist who transforms into the unstoppable Hulk, and Logan, a mutant with regenerative abilities and retractable adamantium claws known as Wolverine. Onslaught's power expands when he sheds his physical form, becoming an even greater threat. The X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, and other heroes unite in battle against him in New York City. To stop Onslaught, non-mutant heroes, including Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Thor, Bruce Banner, and others, sacrifice themselves by entering his energy form, causing him to dissipate. This event seemingly erases them from existence, but Franklin Richards secretly transports them to an alternate reality. With Onslaught defeated, Earth is left without many of its greatest heroes, leading to a temporary shift in power among those who remain. In 2004, the Avengers Disassembled storyline unfolded, marking a pivotal moment for the Avengers. The narrative begins with Jack of Hearts, a former Avenger with explosive energy powers, returning unexpectedly to Avengers Mansion. Upon arrival, Jack of Hearts detonates himself, causing significant destruction and resulting in the death of Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man, who possesses the ability to shrink and grow in size. Shortly after, the Vision, a synthezoid with density-altering abilities, crashes a Quinjet into the mansion. Emerging from the wreckage, Vision releases a horde of Ultron drones, leading to a chaotic battle. During this confrontation, Jennifer Walters, known as She-Hulk for her superhuman strength and resilience, loses control and violently tears Vision apart. Concurrently, Tony Stark, the armored superhero Iron Man, exhibits erratic behavior during a United Nations meeting, appearing intoxicated despite his sobriety. This incident results in the revocation of the Avengers UN Charter. As the team grapples with these crises, a Kree warship attacks, escalating the turmoil. In the ensuing battle, Clint Barton, known as Hawkeye for his exceptional archery skills, sacrifices himself by commandeering a damaged Kree vessel and directing it away before it explodes. Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme and Master of the Mystic Arts, arrives to reveal that Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch with reality-warping abilities, is behind these catastrophic events. Wanda's suppressed memories of her lost children resurface, leading to a mental breakdown and her assault on the Avengers. Doctor Strange confronts Wanda, ultimately rendering her unconscious. Magneto, the mutant with control over magnetism, and Wanda's father, arrives to take her into his care. In the aftermath, the Avengers disband, mourning the loss of their teammates and reflecting on the profound impact of these events. House of M is a 2005 Marvel Comics crossover event written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Olivier Coipel. The story follows the aftermath of Avengers Disassembled, 2004, where the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, suffering from a mental breakdown due to the loss of her children and her unstable reality-warping powers, becomes a danger to the world. Concerned for her safety and the threat she poses, the Avengers and the X-Men gather to decide her fate. Professor X and Magneto, her father, advocate for compassion, while others, like Iron Man and Doctor Strange, argue for more drastic measures. Before a decision can be made, the Scarlet Witch uses her powers to alter reality, creating a world where mutants are the dominant species and humans are the minority. In this new reality, known as the House of M, Magneto rules as the patriarch of a global mutant empire, with his family, including Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, holding positions of power. Key characters experience altered lives. Wolverine retains memories of the original timeline. Spider-Man is happily married to Gwen Stacy, and the Avengers are a celebrated team of mutant heroes. However, cracks in this fabricated world begin to show as Wolverine, with the help of Layla Miller, a mutant who also remembers the true reality, works to awaken others. As more heroes regain their memories, they confront the Scarlet Witch, who is revealed to be the architect of this altered world. The climax occurs when the heroes, led by Wolverine and Magneto, confront Wanda at her family's estate. In a moment of clarity, she realizes the harm she has caused and utters the phrase, "No more mutants," using her powers to rewrite reality once more. This act depowers the vast majority of mutants worldwide, reducing their population from millions to just a few hundred. The event concludes with the restoration of the original timeline, but the Marvel Universe is forever changed. Mutants, once a thriving species, are now an endangered minority, leading to a shift in the dynamics of the X-Men and their ongoing struggle for survival. House of M is significant for its exploration of themes such as power, loss, and the consequences of altering reality. It also had a lasting impact on the Marvel Universe, particularly in the X-Men titles, where the depowering of mutants became a central narrative focus. The event is remembered for its dramatic stakes, emotional depth, and the pivotal role it played in shaping the direction of Marvel Comics in the mid-2000s. Civil War is a 2006 to 2007 Marvel Comics crossover event written by Mark Millar with art by Steve McNiven. The story centers on an ideological conflict between superheroes over the Superhuman Registration Act, a law requiring all superpowered individuals to register their identities with the government and undergo training. The catalyst for this conflict is a tragic incident in Stamford, Connecticut, where a group of young superheroes, the New Warriors, accidentally cause an explosion during a reality TV shoot, resulting in the deaths of hundreds, including children. This disaster sparks public outrage and leads to the passage of the Registration Act, dividing the superhero community into two factions. On one side is Iron Man, Tony Stark, who supports the act, believing it will provide accountability and prevent further tragedies. He is joined by heroes like Mr. Fantastic, Hank Pym, and Spider-Man, who initially reveals his secret identity to the public as a show of support. On the opposing side is Captain America, Steve Rogers, who views the act as a violation of civil liberties and an overreach of government control. He leads a resistance movement, including characters like Luke Cage, the Falcon, and the Young Avengers, who operate underground to protect their freedoms. The conflict escalates into a full-scale war, with battles taking place across the United States, including a climactic fight in New York City. Key moments include Spider-Man's defection from Iron Man's side after realizing the ethical implications of the act, and the imprisonment of anti-registration heroes in a facility in the negative zone. The war reaches its peak when Captain America and Iron Man face off in a brutal final confrontation. However, after gaining the upper hand, Captain America surrenders upon realizing the collateral damage and loss of public trust caused by the conflict. His arrest marks the end of the war, but the fallout continues to shape the Marvel Universe. The event concludes with Iron Man becoming the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., while Captain America is later assassinated, further deepening the divisions within the superhero community. Civil War is notable for its exploration of themes such as security versus freedom, the ethics of government oversight, and the personal costs of ideological conflict. It also significantly altered the dynamics of the Marvel Universe, leading to lasting changes in character relationships and the introduction of new status quos. The event's influence extended beyond comics, inspiring storylines in other media, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Captain America Civil War, 2016, which adapts the core conflict while incorporating elements unique to the films. Annihilation is a 2006 Marvel Comics crossover event written by Keith Giffen, with contributions from various writers and artists, including Andrea DeVito and Scott Collins. The story focuses on the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe, centering on the invasion of the Negative Zone's Annihilation Wave, led by Annihilus, a tyrannical ruler seeking to conquer the positive universe. The event begins with the Annihilation Wave devastating the Kree Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy, and quickly spreading across the universe, destroying planets and civilizations in its path. This catastrophic threat forces unlikely alliances among cosmic heroes, anti-heroes, and former villains, who must band together to stop Annihilus. Key figures in the conflict include Nova, Richard Rider, who becomes a central protagonist after receiving the full power of the Nova Corps following its near destruction. Other major players include Silver Surfer, Ronan the Accuser, Thanos, and the Super Skrull, each contributing to the resistance effort in unique ways. The event is structured around multiple mini-series, such as Annihilation, Nova, Annihilation Silver Surfer, and Annihilation Ronan, which build up to the main Annihilation series. These tie-ins explore the individual struggles of the characters as they prepare for the final confrontation with Annihilus. The climax occurs when the resistance forces, led by Nova, launch a desperate counterattack against the Annihilation Wave. In a pivotal moment, Drax the Destroyer sacrifices himself to kill Thanos, who had been manipulating events from behind the scenes. Nova ultimately confronts Annihilus in a brutal battle, using the quantum bands to defeat him and destroy the Annihilation Wave's command center. The event concludes with the Annihilation Wave defeated, but the cosmic landscape forever altered. The Kree Empire is left in ruins, and Nova emerges as a key figure in the Marvel cosmic hierarchy, setting the stage for future storylines like Annihilation, Conquest, and War of Kings. Annihilation is notable for revitalizing Marvel's cosmic storytelling, which had been relatively dormant for years. It introduced a darker, more serious tone to the cosmic universe, emphasizing large-scale warfare and the moral complexities of its characters. The event also elevated lesser-known characters like Nova and the Super Skrull to greater prominence, reshaping their roles in the Marvel Universe. Its success led to a resurgence of interest in Marvel's cosmic titles, paving the way for subsequent events and series that expanded the scope of its interstellar narratives. Secret Invasion 2008 is a crossover event in which the Skrulls, a shape-shifting alien race capable of mimicking others at a genetic level, execute a long-planned infiltration of Earth by replacing key figures with disguised operatives. The invasion is led by Varanka, a Skrull queen who believes in a prophecy stating that Earth is destined to be the Skrulls' new home. She replaces Jessica Drew, a highly skilled fighter and espionage expert known as Spider-Woman, using her position within the superhero community to manipulate both the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D., a covert military intelligence agency. Tony Stark, a technological genius in advanced armor recognized as Iron Man, discovers that Skrulls are undetectable by conventional methods, leading to distrust among heroes. Reed Richards, a pioneering scientist with an elastic body referred to as Mr. Fantastic, develops a way to identify Skrull infiltrators but is incapacitated by the invaders before he can act. A Skrull impersonating Henry Pym, a brilliant biochemist and original Ant-Man, disables Janet Van Dyne, a size-changing hero known as Wasp, causing her body to release a biological weapon. The Skrulls unleash sleeper agents, including those replacing Elektra, a highly skilled assassin, and Black Bolt, the Inhuman king whose voice can cause cataclysmic destruction. The conflict reaches Wakanda, a technologically advanced African nation ruled by T'Challa, a master strategist and warrior known as Black Panther, as well as Atlantis, an undersea kingdom governed by Namor, a hybrid of human and Atlantean descent possessing immense strength. Meanwhile, Nick Fury, a veteran spy master and former S.H.I.E.L.D. director, resurfaces after years in hiding and assembles a resistance force known as the Secret Warriors, consisting of operatives like Daisy Johnson, an agent with seismic abilities called Quake. A major battle takes place in New York, where Thor, a god of thunder wielding the mystical hammer Mjolnir, and the combined forces of the Avengers, including Steve Rogers, a super soldier known as Captain America, and Clint Barton, a precise marksman known as Hawkeye, fight the Skrull army. Norman Osborn, a calculating industrialist and former Green Goblin, lands the final blow by killing Varanki, positioning himself as a hero in the eyes of the public. Following the invasion, Tony Stark is blamed for failing to prevent the crisis, leading to the dissolution of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Osborn's rise to power as the leader of Hammer, a new security organization. With Skrulls scattered, distrust lingers among Earth's defenders as they struggle to recover from the extensive deception. Siege 2010 is a Marvel Comics crossover event that centers on the assault of Asgard, the home of the Norse gods, which has been floating over Oklahoma since the events of Secret Invasion 2008. The story begins with Norman Osborn, the former villain known as the Green Goblin, now in charge of Hammer, the government agency replacing S.H.I.E.L.D. Osborn, driven by his obsession with power and revenge, declares war on Asgard, convinced that its presence is a threat to Earth's security. Thor, the Norse god of thunder, and Odin, his father and the ruler of Asgard, are key figures in defending their home. The event sees Osborn manipulating his own forces, including the Dark Avengers, a group of villains posing as heroes, to attack Asgard. These include Iron Patriot, Osborn in a version of Iron Man's armor, Bullseye, posing as Hawkeye, Venom, posing as Spider-Man, and Ares, the Greek god of war, among others. On the opposing side, Steve Rogers, the former Captain America, and Bucky Barnes, the current Captain America, lead the resistance alongside Thor, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Miss Marvel. The battle culminates in Osborn's defeat, with the destruction of the Dark Avengers, and Osborn losing control of his forces. Thor's actions during the final conflict lead to the destruction of Asgard, though it is later restored. The Siege storyline concludes with a focus on rebuilding and resolving the leadership crisis, as Steve Rogers returns as the official Captain America. Shadowland 2010 is a Marvel crossover event centered on Daredevil, a blind superhero with heightened senses who serves as the protector of Hell's Kitchen. Matt Murdock, Daredevil's secret identity, has recently taken control of the Hand, a deadly ninja organization, in an attempt to restore order to the streets of New York. However, the Hand's influence corrupts Matt, pushing him toward darker actions and making him more ruthless. As Matt's grip on power strengthens, his morality begins to erode, and he grows increasingly violent. This shift puts him in direct conflict with other superheroes like Luke Cage, a hero with unbreakable skin and immense strength, Iron Fist, and Spider-Man. These heroes, along with others like Jessica Jones, a private investigator with super strength, and the villain Kingpin, who is a criminal mastermind, try to stop Daredevil's descent into tyranny. The event culminates in a series of violent confrontations between Matt and his former allies. The Hand's influence continues to spread as Matt's transformation becomes complete. The story also explores the impact of Matt's decisions on Hell's Kitchen, the people he once protected, and the strained relationships with his friends and allies. Shadowland ends with Matt being defeated and relinquishing control of the Hand, but the event marks a significant turning point for Daredevil and his role in the Marvel Universe, leaving lasting effects on his character and relationships. In 2010, the Marvel Comics storyline, The Thanos Imperative, addressed the incursion of the Cancerverse, a universe devoid of death, into the primary Marvel universe, Earth 616. This invasion followed the creation of the Fault, a massive tear in space-time resulting from the war between the Kree and Shi'ar empires. The Cancerverse is dominated by the Many-Angled Ones, eldritch entities seeking to impose their undying reality upon Earth 616. Leading their forces is Lord Mar-Vell, a corrupted version of the deceased hero Captain Mar-Vell, who commands the Revengers, a twisted counterpart of the Avengers. In response, the Guardians of the Galaxy, a team of intergalactic heroes, enlist the aid of Thanos, the mad titan obsessed with death, believing his unique connection can counter the Cancerverse's deathless nature. The Guardians include Peter Quill, Star-Lord, the team's strategic leader, Rocket Raccoon, a genetically modified raccoon and weapons expert, Gamora, a highly skilled assassin and the adopted daughter of Thanos, Drax, Arthur Douglas, a warrior engineered to destroy Thanos, Groot, a sentient tree-like being, and Mantis, a telepath with precognitive abilities. Nova, Richard Rider, a human empowered by the Nova Corps, collaborates with the Guardians. Together, they journey into the Cancerverse, confronting monstrous versions of familiar heroes. During the mission, Drax attempts to kill Thanos, but is obliterated. Thanos, embracing the inevitability of death, provokes the wrath of the Many-Angled Ones, causing the Cancerverse to collapse upon itself. Peter Quill and Nova remain behind to ensure Thanos does not escape, resulting in their apparent deaths. Fear itself, 2011, is a crossover event in which the Asgardian deity Odin, ruler of Asgard and father of Thor, senses the return of a long-banished threat, the Serpent, an ancient god of fear and his long-lost brother. The Serpent sends magical hammers known as the Worthy across Earth, transforming select individuals into his powerful enforcers. Juggernaut, an unstoppable force named Cain Marko, becomes Kurth, Breaker of Stone. Hulk, a gamma-powered giant with limitless strength called Bruce Banner, is turned into Null, Breaker of Worlds. Titania, a superhumanly strong warrior named Mary McFerrin, takes the title Skirn, Breaker of Men. Atuma, an Atlantean warlord seeking dominance over the oceans, becomes Nurkad, Breaker of Oceans. Grey Gargoyle, a villain with the ability to turn people into stone known as Paul-Pierre Duval, takes the name Mok, Breaker of Faith. Absorbing Man, a criminal named Carl Creel, capable of replicating any material, becomes Graithoth, Breaker of Wills. Thing, a rock-skinned powerhouse called Ben Grimm, unwillingly turns into Angrier, Breaker of Souls. The Worthy rampage across the world, spreading chaos and destruction. Steve Rogers, a super soldier and master tactician known as Captain America, leads Earth's heroes against the Serpent's forces. Tony Stark, a genius inventor wearing advanced armor known as Iron Man, forges new enchanted weapons using Asgardian metal to counter the enemy's power. Thor, the god of thunder and wielder of Mjolnir, confronts the Serpent directly in battle. During the fight, Bucky Barnes, a highly trained operative formerly known as the Winter Soldier, is seemingly killed while using the mantle of Captain America. Thor defeats the Serpent, but is mortally wounded in the process. As the battle ends, Steve Rogers reclaims his role as Captain America, and Thor's sacrifice forces Odin to reconsider his approach to protecting both Asgard and Earth. The conflict leaves lasting consequences, with the Worthy's destruction altering the balance of power among heroes and villains. Avengers vs. X-Men is a 2012 Marvel Comics crossover event written by a team including Brian Michael Bendis, Jason Aaron, and others, with art by John Romita Jr., Olivier Coipel, and Adam Kubert. The story revolves around the return of the Phoenix Force, a cosmic entity of immense power, and the resulting conflict between the Avengers and the X-Men over how to handle its impending arrival. The Phoenix Force is drawn to Earth, specifically to Hope Summers, a mutant believed to be the key to restoring the mutant population after the events of House of M, 2005, which had drastically reduced the number of mutants worldwide. The Avengers, led by Captain America, believe the Phoenix Force poses a catastrophic threat and insist on taking Hope into their custody to prevent its destructive potential. The X-Men, led by Cyclops, argue that the Phoenix could be the key to mutantkind's survival and refuse to hand Hope over. This disagreement escalates into a full-scale war between the two teams, with battles taking place in various locations, including the Moon, the Savage Land, and Utopia, the X-Men's island base. Key moments include Wolverine's internal conflict as he is torn between his loyalty to the X-Men and his belief that Hope must be stopped, and the Phoenix Force bonding with 5 X-Men: Cyclops, Emma Frost, Namor, Colossus, and Magik, after it is fractured upon arrival. The Phoenix Five, as they become known, initially use their newfound power to reshape the world, ending wars, curing diseases, and providing unlimited energy. However, the corrupting influence of the Phoenix Force soon takes hold, leading to increasingly authoritarian and destructive actions. Namor attacks Wakanda, prompting a retaliatory strike by the Avengers, while Cyclops and Emma Frost become increasingly unstable. The conflict reaches its climax when Cyclops, fully consumed by the Phoenix, kills Professor X in a moment of rage, cementing his descent into villainy. Hope, realizing the Phoenix must be stopped, teams up with the Scarlet Witch to confront Cyclops. In the final battle, Hope absorbs the Phoenix Force and uses its power to reignite the mutant gene, restoring the mutant population, before relinquishing the entity. The event concludes with Cyclops imprisoned for his actions, the mutant population revitalized, and a fragile peace established between the Avengers and the X-Men. Avengers vs. X-Men is notable for its exploration of themes such as power, responsibility, and the consequences of ideological conflict. It also significantly impacted the Marvel Universe, leading to new status quos for characters like Cyclops, who becomes a controversial figure, and Hope, who emerges as a pivotal character in mutant lore. The event's repercussions continued to influence storylines in both the Avengers and X-Men titles, shaping the direction of Marvel Comics in the years that followed. Age of Ultron is a 2013 10-issue crossover event in Marvel Comics. It centers on the sentient robot tyrant Ultron, who conquers Earth in an apocalyptic future known as Earth 61112. He deploys armies of powerful drones that patrol ruined cities, hunting survivors. The story opens with Hawkeye, a skilled archer resilient in battle, rescuing Spider-Man from underworld criminals in devastated New York. They reach an underground bunker populated by heroes including Cage, a durable street-level protector, She-Hulk, a green-skinned powerhouse, Iron Man, an armored inventor, Emma Frost, a telepathic strategist, and Black Widow, a former covert agent. Captain America, a patriotic super soldier, gathers the group and formulates a plan. The Resistance discovers Ultron's mind operates from the future, using temporal technology to control the present. Heroes Storm, a weather-manipulating leader, Quake, a seismic force wielder, Red Hulk, Nick Fury, a strategic commander, Quicksilver, a super-speed twin, and Wolverine, a regenerative mutant fighter, all join a mission to travel forward through time using a time platform. Wolverine, predicting failure, ventures alone into the past with Invisible Woman, an energy field projector, to eliminate Hank Pym, a genius scientist responsible for Ultron's creation. Their initial attempt succeeds in killing Pym, but returning to the future, they find an even more chaotic world ruled in part by magic, dominated by Morgan Le Fay, a powerful sorceress, and militarized defenders including alternate versions of Captain America, Hulk, Thing, Cable, Doctor Strange, Wasp, and Star-Lord. That world's Iron Man, a technological commander, confronts Wolverine and Sue, enforcing a lockdown aboard a helicarrier and resisting their story as something magical agents planted. A battle erupts involving Morgan's magical forces and mechanical drones above New York, destroying helicarriers. A dying Tony Stark warns Wolverine not to tear apart time, describing it as a living organism that would break. Wolverine re-enters the past again, this time only to warn Pym instead of killing him. In issue number 10, heroes including Doctor Doom's ally on time travel collaborate, and after intense effort, disable Ultron using a fail-safe program hidden in Ultron's design by Pym. The future resets closer to normal, though residual effects remain. Infinity 2013 is a major crossover event in which the villain Thanos, a powerful warlord obsessed with destruction and death, launches an invasion of Earth while the Avengers are off-world fighting the Builders, an ancient race seeking to eradicate lesser civilizations. The story begins with the Avengers, led by Steve Rogers, a super soldier with enhanced strength and strategic genius, responding to a cosmic threat posed by the Builders. Tony Stark, a genius inventor in advanced armor known as Iron Man, stays behind on Earth as part of the Illuminati, a secret group of powerful leaders, including Stephen Strange, a sorcerer wielding mystical abilities as Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, a brilliant scientist with an elastic body known as Mr. Fantastic, T'Challa, a skilled warrior and king called Black Panther, Namor, a superhuman ruler of the oceans, and Black Bolt, the inhuman king whose voice can cause massive destruction. While the Avengers fight in space, Thanos sends his Black Order, a group of deadly generals including Corvus Glaive, a brutal strategist wielding an unbreakable blade, Proxima Midnight, a warrior with energy-infused spears, Ebony Maw, a manipulative telepath, Black Dwarf, a powerful brute, and Supergiant, a psychic parasite, to attack Earth. Thanos seeks the hidden inhuman city of Attilan, ruled by Black Bolt, to locate his secret son, Thane, a hybrid of eternal and inhuman descent with devastating reality-altering powers. Black Bolt, knowing Thanos demands the lives of inhuman youths, triggers a Terrigen bomb, causing Terrigen mist to spread worldwide, awakening latent inhuman abilities in unsuspecting individuals, including Thane, who gains the ability to entrap beings in a state of living death. The Avengers, after defeating the Builders, return to Earth and confront Thanos in Wakanda, a hidden nation led by Black Panther. In the battle, Thane unwillingly uses his powers on Thanos and his Black Order, sealing them in an unbreakable amber-like prison. With Thanos defeated, the Avengers recognize new threats emerging from the unleashed inhuman population, while the Illuminati continue their secret war against planetary incursions. Axis 2014 is a Marvel crossover event where the forces of good and evil are reversed due to a magical event. The storyline begins with the Scarlet Witch, a mutant with reality-altering powers, and Doctor Doom, a genius sorcerer and ruler of Latveria, working together to stop the Red Onslaught, a fusion of the Red Skull and the mind of Charles Xavier, the powerful telepathic leader of the X-Men. The Red Onslaught has unleashed chaos, threatening to reshape the world into a dictatorship. In an attempt to stop him, the Avengers, led by Captain America, and the X-Men, led by Cyclops, a mutant with optic blasts, team up with Doctor Doom. However, the battle goes awry when the Scarlet Witch uses her powers to alter reality, creating a wave of magical energy that causes a flip in moral alignment for several characters. Heroes like Iron Man, Thor, and Wolverine become villains, while villains like Magneto and Doctor Doom temporarily act heroically. The event culminates in the Red Onslaught's defeat, but the moral inversion leaves lasting consequences for the characters involved. Afterward, the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Doom manage to undo the inversion, but the effects of the event continue to resonate. The storyline explored the impact of this inversion on the characters' actions and decisions, and set the stage for future storylines, including the implications for the X-Men and the Avengers' relationships with each other. In 2014, Marvel Comics introduced Spider-Verse, a crossover event where numerous spider-themed heroes from various universes united to combat the Inheritors, a family of powerful beings who feed on the life force of individuals possessing spider abilities. The narrative begins with Morlun, a member of the Inheritors known for hunting and consuming spider totems, beings embodying spider powers, resurrecting and initiating a multiversal hunt alongside his family. This poses a significant threat to all spider-themed heroes across different realities. In response, various spider heroes assemble to confront the Inheritors. Key figures include Peter Parker, the primary Spider-Man of Earth 616, known for his agility, strength, and spider sense. Miles Morales, a younger Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610, with similar abilities plus camouflage and venom strikes. Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman from Earth 65, often referred to as Spider-Gwen, who possesses powers akin to Peter Parker, and Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman of Earth 616, notable for her bioelectric blasts and immunity to toxins. Other notable participants are Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 from Earth 928, possessing enhanced vision and talons, Cindy Moon, Silk from Earth 616, who was bitten by the same radioactive spider as Peter Parker, granting her similar powers, and Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, a clone of Peter Parker with identical abilities. The Inheritors, led by their patriarch Solus, include Morlun, Deimos, Genix, and Karn. Each possesses superhuman strength, speed, and durability, making them formidable adversaries. The conflict spans multiple universes, ultimately leading to a decisive battle that led to the Inheritors' defeat and imprisonment on a toxic, irradiated Earth, rendering them powerless. The second Secret Wars 2015, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Esad Ribic, is a more complex and universe-altering event. It serves as the culmination of Hickman's runs on Fantastic Four and Avengers, where the multiverse faces destruction due to incursions, collisions between parallel realities. The final incursion results in the annihilation of all universes except two: the main Marvel universe, Earth 616, and the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610. Doctor Doom, with the help of Doctor Strange and the Molecule Man, uses the power of the Beyonders to save fragments of these worlds, creating a new battle world ruled by him as God Emperor. This patchwork planet is divided into domains, each representing different realities or timelines, such as the Age of Apocalypse or the Marvel Zombies universe. The story follows the surviving heroes, led by Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, as they resist Doom's tyrannical rule and seek to restore the multiverse. Key moments include the revelation that Doom's actions were driven by his desire to save what he could, albeit under his control, and the eventual overthrow of his regime by Richards, who uses the power of the Molecule Man to rebuild the multiverse. The event concludes with the creation of a new unified Marvel universe, merging elements of Earth 616 and Earth 1610, and introducing new status quos for characters like Miles Morales, who transitions from the Ultimate Universe to the main continuity. Both iterations of Secret Wars are significant for their scale and impact on Marvel's storytelling. The 1984 version is remembered for its straightforward, action-driven narrative and lasting character developments, while the 2015 version is praised for its intricate plot, thematic depth, and role in reshaping the Marvel Universe. Together, they highlight Marvel's ability to reinvent its universe while maintaining continuity and exploring the moral complexities of its characters. Civil War 2016 is a Marvel Comics crossover event that centers around the conflict between Tony Stark and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, over the use of Ulysses, a young Inhuman with the ability to predict the future. Ulysses has visions of catastrophic events before they happen, and Carol Danvers, believing that these visions can be used to prevent tragedies, advocates for preemptive strikes to stop crimes before they occur. Tony Stark, however, opposes this approach, arguing that punishing people for crimes they haven't committed violates personal freedoms. The conflict escalates when Ulysses predicts a devastating event involving Thanos, the cosmic conqueror. Carol Danvers orders a preemptive strike on Thanos, leading to his capture, but the situation quickly spirals out of control, with Bruce Banner, Hulk, killed during the conflict, which intensifies the divide between the two sides. Tony Stark leads a group of heroes opposing Carol Danvers, including Black Panther, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ant-Man, and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Carol Danvers leads her own faction, including Black Widow, Captain America, Sam Wilson, and War Machine. The event concludes with Tony Stark being severely injured in a final confrontation with Carol Danvers, leaving the Avengers fractured. The aftermath sees a divided superhero community, with Carol Danvers and Tony Stark maintaining opposing views on how to protect the world. Secret Empire 2017 is a Marvel Comics crossover event that centers on Captain America, who is revealed to be an undercover agent of Hydra, a villainous organization led by Red Skull. This twist occurs after Captain America's reality is altered by the cosmic entity, the Cosmic Cube, which reshapes his past, making him a lifelong Hydra agent. As a result, Steve Rogers uses his position as Captain America to lead Hydra's conquest of America, overthrowing the government and establishing a new totalitarian regime. The story focuses on the rebellion formed by various heroes, including Black Widow, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, and Iron Man, who fight against Hydra's takeover. Black Widow is a highly skilled spy and combatant. Falcon, Sam Wilson, is a former partner to Captain America and the current holder of the Captain America mantle, while Iron Man, Tony Stark, is a genius billionaire and leader of the Resistance. The X-Men, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange also join in the effort to stop Hydra. The Cosmic Cube, which is a powerful artifact capable of altering reality, plays a pivotal role in shaping Captain America's transformation into a Hydra agent. The conflict escalates as Captain America, under the influence of Hydra, launches a series of attacks against the rebels, leading to a series of battles across the country. The conclusion of Secret Empire sees the real Steve Rogers being restored by the actions of Sam Wilson, who takes up the mantle of Captain America. Captain America's return to his true self helps defeat Red Skull and Hydra, restoring the country's freedom. The War of the Realms 2019 is a crossover event in which Malekith, a dark elf who seeks total domination, wages war across the 10 realms, eventually bringing the conflict to Earth. Malekith forms the Dark Council, an alliance of powerful beings, including Laufey, the king of the Frost Giants, Ulik, a troll warlord, Cinder, the queen of Muspelheim's fire demons, and Dario Agger, a ruthless businessman who transforms into the Minotaur. With Asgard weakened and Thor, the god of thunder, trapped, Malekith's forces invade Midgard, which is also known as Earth. New York City becomes a battleground as heroes like Steve Rogers, a super soldier known as Captain America, Tony Stark, a genius in advanced armor called Iron Man, and Carol Danvers, an energy-powered warrior known as Captain Marvel, lead the resistance. Jane Foster, a former wielder of Mjolnir and an ally of the gods, takes up the weapon Underyarn and becomes the new Valkyrie. Odin, the Allfather of Asgard, and Freya, the queen of the gods, organize a last stand against Malekith's army. Loki, the god of mischief, initially serves Malekith, but ultimately aids in the battle after being swallowed by Laufey and cutting his way out from within. Thor returns with reinforcements from various realms and reforges Mjolnir using the energies of the Mother Storm. He leads an assault on Malekith and Stonehenge, where Malekith attempts to sacrifice Thor's younger self, his present self, and his future self, but the plan fails. With his forces defeated, Malekith is consumed by his own illusions and is trapped in a realm of eternal torment. As the war ends, Jane Foster assumes her role as the new Valkyrie, Thor reclaims his status as the god of thunder, and the realms begin to recover from the devastation. In 2020, the Marvel Universe experienced Empyre, a crossover event that reshaped intergalactic dynamics. The conflict centered on Earth, involving the Kree and Skrull empires, who had a history of warfare. Under the leadership of Emperor Hulkling, a Kree-Skrull hybrid and member of the Young Avengers, these empires united. Hulkling, whose real name is Doric VIII, sought to conquer Earth, setting the stage for a cosmic confrontation. The Kree, known for their blue skin and advanced technology, and the Skrull, distinguished by their shape-shifting abilities, two alien alien races with a long-standing enmity joined forces under Hulkling's rule, marking a significant shift in galactic politics. Opposing this alliance, Earth's heroes, including the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, a team of superpowered individuals, prepared for battle. Complicating matters, the Kotati, a race of sentient plant-based beings, emerged as a third faction. The Kotati possessed the ability to manipulate plant life and sought to prevent the Kree and Skrull from exploiting Earth's resources. The battle culminated with Earth's heroes successfully repelling the Kree-Skrull invasion. This victory led to the dissolution of the Kree-Skrull alliance and a re-evaluation of Earth's role in intergalactic affairs. X of Swords 2020 is a Marvel Comics crossover event centered around the mutant island of Krakoa, led by Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto. The event explores the conflict between Krakoa and Arakko, a mysterious island that was separated from Krakoa thousands of years ago. The story begins with the emergence of Apocalypse, the first mutant who seeks to reunite Krakoa and Arakko. He is joined by Genesis, his wife, and their children, including war, famine, pestilence, and death. The event is triggered when Saturnine, the captain of the Starlight Citadel and the cosmic ruler of the Mojoverse, arranges a contest between the champions of Krakoa and Arakko to determine the fate of both islands. The champions must each wield a magical sword, each of which holds a unique power tied to the ancient history of both islands. Key participants include Wolverine, Logan, Storm, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, Cyclops, Captain Avalon, Gorgon, and Magik, each of whom must fight their Arakko counterparts in a series of deadly duels. As the battles unfold, alliances are tested, and ancient grudges are brought to light. Iska the Unbeaten, a mutant who cannot lose, plays a significant role in the conflict, aligning with the Arakko faction. The culmination of the event reveals dark secrets about the origins of mutants and their powers, and the eventual outcome forces Krakoa to confront its own future. X of Swords is a critical turning point in the Dawn of X era, reshaping mutant society and establishing a new status quo for the characters, particularly the rise of Krakoa as a superpower. Devil's Reign is a Marvel Comics crossover event published from December 2021 to May 2022. The storyline centers on Wilson Fisk, known as Kingpin, who serves as the mayor of New York City. Fisk enacts the Powers Act, a law banning vigilantism in the city, aiming to eliminate superheroes. He assembles a team of supervillains, including Crossbones, a mercenary skilled in combat, Taskmaster, a mercenary with photographic reflexes, and Typhoid Mary, a telekinetic pyrokinetic with multiple personalities, to enforce this act. Opposing Fisk are various superheroes. Matt Murdock, known as Daredevil, a blind lawyer with enhanced senses and martial arts expertise. Elektra Natchios, also adopting the Daredevil mantle, a skilled assassin and martial artist. Steve Rogers, known as Captain America, a super soldier embodying American ideals. Tony Stark. Reed Richards, known as Mr. Fantastic, leader of the Fantastic Four with an elastic body. Sue Storm Richards, known as Invisible Woman, a member of the Fantastic Four with invisibility and force field abilities. Ben Grimm, known as Thing, a member of the Fantastic Four with a rock-like appearance and superhuman strength. Johnny Storm, known as Human Torch, a member of the Fantastic Four with pyrokinesis and flight. Ben Reilly, Miles Morales. Luke Cage, a hero with unbreakable skin and super strength. Jessica Jones, a private investigator with superhuman strength and flight. And Spider-Woman. The conflict escalates as Fisk's administration exposes secrets of these heroes, intensifying public sentiment against them. In the 2022 Marvel Comics crossover event, Axe Judgment Day, the Eternals, a race of immortal beings created by the Celestials to protect Earth, discover that mutants, such as those residing on the island nation of Krakoa, are considered excess deviation. Druig, the scheming Prime Eternal, initiates an assault on Krakoa to eliminate the mutant population. In response, the Avengers, a team of superheroes including Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, intervene to prevent the extermination of mutants and mitigate the escalating conflict. Seeking a solution, Ajak, a devoted Eternal Priestess, and Iron Man collaborate to resurrect the Progenitor, a deceased Celestial whose body serves as the Avengers' headquarters. Their goal is to have the Progenitor pass judgment on humanity and end the war. However, upon its revival, the Progenitor deems humanity unworthy and decides to eradicate all life on Earth. In a desperate attempt to avert global annihilation, the Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals unite to confront the Progenitor. Eros, also known as Star Fox and brother to the tyrant Thanos, plays a pivotal role in rallying the Eternals to oppose the Celestial. Despite their combined efforts, the Progenitor's power proves overwhelming. In a critical moment, Cersei, a compassionate Eternal with the ability to manipulate matter, reveals to humanity that the Eternal's resurrection process involves the sacrifice of human lives. By exposing this truth, Cersei seeks to demonstrate the capacity for change and redemption among the Eternals. This act influences the Progenitor's judgment, leading it to reconsider its decision and ultimately spare Earth. Crisis on Infinite Earths is a landmark DC Comics event that reshaped the entire DC universe. Written by Marv Wolfman and illustrated by George Perez, the 12-issue limited series was published from April 1985 to March 1986. The story centers on the multiverse, a concept where countless parallel Earths exist, each with its own version of heroes, villains, and histories. The primary antagonist is the Anti-Monitor, a being of immense power who seeks to destroy all positive matter universes, leaving only antimatter realms under his control. To combat this threat, heroes and villains from across the multiverse unite, including iconic characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash, as well as lesser-known figures from various Earths. The narrative begins with the destruction of several parallel Earths, as the Anti-Monitor's wave of antimatter consumes them. The Monitor, a benevolent counterpart to the Anti-Monitor, assembles a team of heroes to fight this existential threat. Key moments include the death of the Flash, Barry Allen, who sacrifices himself to save the multiverse, and the heroic stand of Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, who perishes in battle against the Anti-Monitor. These deaths highlight the high stakes and emotional weight of the crisis. The story also introduces Harbinger, the Monitor's assistant, who plays a crucial role in gathering and guiding the heroes. As the crisis escalates, the heroes discover that the only way to stop the Anti-Monitor is to collapse the multiverse into a single, unified reality. This leads to the merging of Earth 1, Earth 2, and other surviving Earths into one cohesive universe. The final battle takes place at the dawn of time, where the Spectre, a cosmic entity, aids the heroes in defeating the Anti-Monitor. The series concludes with the creation of a new, streamlined DC universe, erasing the complex multiverse and simplifying continuity for future stories. This event marked the end of the Silver and Bronze Ages of comics and ushered in the Modern Age, influencing countless stories that followed. The impact of Crisis on Infinite Earths is profound, as it not only resolved long-standing continuity issues, but also allowed DC to reboot its characters and settings. For example, characters like Superman and Wonder Woman were given updated origins, while others, such as the Justice Society of America, were temporarily retired. The event also set a precedent for future crossover events in comics, both within DC and across the industry. Its legacy endures, as later stories such as Infinite Crisis 2005 to 2006 and Dark Knight's Metal 2017-2018 revisit and expand upon its themes and consequences. The series remains a cornerstone of DC Comics history, celebrated for its ambitious scope and lasting influence on the medium. The Death of Superman, 1992, centers on Superman's battle with Doomsday, an unstoppable creature of immense strength. Doomsday, a being engineered for destruction, emerges from an underground chamber and begins wreaking havoc across the United States. The Justice League, including Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and Maxima, attempts to stop Doomsday, but is overwhelmed by his relentless power. Superman, the symbol of hope, confronts Doomsday in Metropolis, where their battle escalates with devastating blows. The fight culminates outside the Daily Planet, where both deliver fatal strikes, and Superman succumbs to his injuries. Lois Lane, Superman's closest ally, holds him as he dies, leaving the world in mourning. Lex Luthor, Superman's greatest enemy and brilliant strategist, watches his rival's death, but his victory feels hollow. The aftermath leads to national grief and the emergence of four figures claiming Superman's legacy: Steel, a genius inventor in power armor; Cyborg Superman, a cybernetic entity with hidden motives; Superboy, a youthful clone of Superman; and the Eradicator, a cold enforcer. Superman's absence creates vulnerability, setting the stage for future conflicts and the eventual return of the Man of Steel. The return of Barry Allen, 1993 to 1994, follows Wally West, the current Flash, as he faces the shocking reappearance of Barry Allen, his predecessor who was believed dead since Crisis on Infinite Earths, 1985 to 1986. Wally, after years of proving himself, is initially thrilled, believing Barry's return restores the greatest Flash. However, Barry's behavior becomes erratic and hostile, demanding to reclaim his title while undermining Wally's worth. Jay Garrick, the first Flash with a direct connection to the Speed Force, and Max Mercury, a time-traveling speedster with deep Speed Force knowledge, suspect something is wrong. When Barry turns violent, attacking Wally and others, the truth emerges. He is actually Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, a time-traveling enemy who once idolized Barry, but later became obsessed with destroying his legacy. Eobard, possessing immense speed and temporal manipulation, seeks to replace Barry and erase Wally's existence. Wally, overcoming his self-doubt, fully embraces his identity as the Flash and defeats Eobard, proving himself as Barry's true successor. The event marks a turning point, solidifying Wally as the fastest man alive and the definitive Flash. 0 Hour, Crisis in Time, is a DC Comics event published as a 5-issue limited series from September to October 1994, written by Dan Jurgens, with art by Jurgens and Jerry Ordway. The story addresses growing continuity issues within the DC universe, particularly those stemming from the 1985 event Crisis on Infinite Earths. The central conflict revolves around the collapse of time itself, as temporal anomalies and paradoxes cause the past, present, and future to unravel. The event introduces Extant, a time-traveling villain, and a younger version of Hal Jordan, known as Parallax, who seeks to remake the universe after the destruction of his home city, Coast City. The narrative begins with heroes and villains across the DC universe noticing strange temporal disturbances, such as characters aging rapidly or disappearing entirely. These anomalies are caused by Extant, who manipulates time to destabilize reality. Meanwhile, Hal Jordan, driven by grief and rage, becomes Parallax and decides to use his newfound power to rewrite history, believing he can create a better world. His actions exacerbate the crisis, leading to a countdown toward 0 Hour, the moment when time will cease to exist. Heroes like Superman, Batman, and the Justice League must unite to stop both Extant and Parallax before the universe collapses. Key moments include the formation of a coalition of heroes from different eras, including the Legion of Superheroes from the future and the Justice Society from the past. The climax involves a battle at the Vanishing Point, the end of time, where the heroes confront Parallax and Extant. The story concludes with the defeat of both villains and the restoration of time, but not without significant changes to the DC universe. Parallax's actions result in the erasure of certain characters and events, streamlining continuity and resolving lingering inconsistencies from previous stories. 0 Hour is notable for its focus on time travel and its impact on DC's continuity. It serves as a follow-up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, addressing unresolved issues and setting the stage for future storytelling. The event also marks a turning point for Hal Jordan, whose transformation into Parallax becomes a defining aspect of his character. By blending high-stakes action with complex temporal mechanics, 0 Hour stands as a significant chapter in DC Comics, offering a fresh start while honoring its rich history. The event's influence is felt in subsequent stories, making it a crucial moment in the evolution of the DC universe. Final Night, 1996, follows Earth's fight for survival after the Sun Eater, a massive energy-consuming entity, drains the sun, causing darkness and plummeting temperatures. Superman, reliant on solar energy, becomes severely weakened. Hal Jordan, formerly a Green Lantern before becoming Parallax, possesses near-limitless energy manipulation after absorbing the central power battery. The Justice League, including Batman, a master strategist, and Wonder Woman, a divine warrior, works to counter the catastrophe. Lex Luthor, a genius strategist and scientist, develops plans to restore the sun. Martian Manhunter, a shape-shifting telepath, aids in rescue efforts. Aquaman, Atlantis' ruler with superhuman strength and aquatic telepathy, stabilizes the oceans as the planet freezes. Wally West, the Flash, uses super speed for evacuations and disaster relief. As the crisis escalates, Hal sacrifices himself, using his immense power to reignite the sun, saving Earth. Though redeemed, his past as Parallax leaves his legacy uncertain. The event ends with the heroes reflecting on Hal's sacrifice and the lasting effects of the disaster. Our Worlds at War, 2001, is a DC crossover event where Earth's heroes confront Empyre, a cosmic entity embodying entropy, intent on destroying the universe to create a new one. Empyre initiates his plan by targeting Earth as the focal point for universal annihilation. To combat this threat, a coalition forms, including Superman, an alien from Krypton with superhuman abilities, Wonder Woman, an Amazonian princess and warrior, Batman, a human vigilante detective, Green Lantern Kyle Rayner, a ring-wielding protector of the universe, and the Justice League. They ally with Darkseid, ruler of the planet Apocalypse, known for his immense power and ambition to control all life. The conflict results in significant casualties. Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons and mother of Wonder Woman, sacrifices herself to save others. Aquaman, king of Atlantis with aquatic abilities, is presumed dead during the battle. Maxima, a warrior queen from the planet Almerac, also perishes. Additionally, Sam Lane, a high-ranking military officer and father of journalist Lois Lane, dies in the line of duty. The tide turns when Superman absorbs massive solar energy to enhance his powers. He collaborates with Martian Manhunter, a shape-shifting telepath from Mars, to transport Empyre's essence back to the beginning of time, causing a reversal of the destructive process. Identity Crisis is a DC Comics event written by Brad Meltzer with art by Rags Morales, published as a 7-issue limited series from June 2004 to December 2004. The story focuses on the personal lives of superheroes, exploring themes of privacy, morality, and the consequences of past actions. It begins with the murder of Sue Dibney, the wife of the elongated man, Ralph Dibney, which shocks the superhero community and sets off a chain of events that reveal dark secrets. The investigation into her death uncovers a pattern of attacks targeting the loved ones of heroes, leading to widespread paranoia and mistrust among the Justice League. As the mystery unfolds, it is revealed that Sue's murder is connected to a series of mind wipes performed by a group of League members, including Zatanna, Green Arrow, Hawkman, and the Atom. These mind wipes were used to erase the memories of villains and, in one controversial instance, the memories of Batman, who had discovered their actions. The mind wipes were initially intended to protect the identities of heroes and their families, but the ethical implications of such actions come to light, causing tension and division within the superhero community. The story raises questions about the limits of power and the moral compromises made in the name of justice. The central antagonist is ultimately revealed to be Jean Loring, the ex-wife of Ray Palmer, the Atom, who had become mentally unstable. Using Ray's technology, she orchestrated the attacks in a misguided attempt to regain his attention. Her actions lead to tragic consequences, including the death of Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, and the severe injury of the Atom's girlfriend, Jean's rival. The story concludes with Jean being committed to Arkham Asylum, but the fallout from the events leaves lasting scars on the heroes involved. The Justice League's unity is fractured, and trust among its members is deeply eroded. Identity Crisis is notable for its focus on the human side of superheroes, delving into their vulnerabilities and the personal costs of their double lives. It also addresses the ethical dilemmas of using powers to manipulate minds, a theme that resonates throughout the DC universe. The event has a significant impact on subsequent storylines, influencing character dynamics and setting the stage for future conflicts, such as those seen in Infinite Crisis, 2005 to 2006. By blending a murder mystery with deeper philosophical questions, Identity Crisis remains a defining moment in DC Comics, offering a grounded and emotionally charged exploration of its characters. Infinite Crisis is a major DC Comics event published as a 7-issue limited series from December 2005 to June 2006, written by Jeff Johns and illustrated by Phil Jimenez. Serving as a sequel to the 1985 to 1986 event Crisis on Infinite Earths, it explores the consequences of merging the multiverse into a single universe and the moral decay of the DC Universe's heroes. The story begins with the return of Earth 2's Superman, Alexander Luthor, son of Lex Luthor and Superboy Prime, who had been trapped in a paradise dimension since the original Crisis. Disillusioned with the current state of the world, they seek to restore the multiverse, believing it to be a better, purer reality. The central conflict arises from the growing divide between heroes, particularly Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, whose ideals and methods have become increasingly strained. Batman's distrust, Superman's perceived detachment, and Wonder Woman's willingness to kill Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman number 219, 2005, highlight the fractures within the superhero community. These tensions are exploited by Alexander Luthor, who manipulates events to pit heroes against each other while constructing a tower designed to recreate the multiverse. Superboy Prime, driven by nostalgia for a simpler time, becomes a destructive force, attacking heroes and causing widespread chaos. Key moments include the death of Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle, who uncovers Alexander Luthor's plans, but is killed before he can warn others. This event galvanizes heroes to unite against the growing threat. The climax involves a massive battle in Metropolis, where Superboy Prime wreaks havoc, and Alexander Luthor's tower is destroyed. The story concludes with the restoration of a new multiverse, though not in the form Alexander Luthor intended. The event also sees the return of the original Flash, Barry Allen, who had been presumed dead since Crisis on Infinite Earths. The aftermath of Infinite Crisis significantly impacts the DC universe. It leads to the 1 year later time jump, where characters and storylines are reimagined with a fresh perspective. The event also sets the stage for future storylines, such as 52, 2006 to 2007, and Final Crisis, 2008 to 2009, further exploring the complexities of the multiverse and the evolving nature of heroism. Infinite Crisis serves as a critical examination of the superhero genre, blending action with deeper thematic elements. Its influence continues to shape DC Comics, making it a pivotal moment in the publisher's history. Sinestro Corps War, 2007 to 2008, was a pivotal crossover event in DC Comics' Green Lantern series. It centered on the conflict between the Green Lantern Corps, who harness the power of will, and the Sinestro Corps, wielders of yellow power rings fueled by fear. The conflict ignited when Sinestro, a former Green Lantern known for his authoritarian approach, established the Sinestro Corps on Quord in the antimatter universe. He recruited individuals capable of instilling great fear, arming them with yellow power rings that granted abilities akin to the Green Green Lantern's green rings, but powered by fear instead of will. Key members of the Sinestro Corps included Parallax, the embodiment of fear, and the resurrected Anti-Monitor, a being of immense destructive power. The Corps launched an assault on the Green Lanterns, leading to significant battles across the universe and on Earth. During these confrontations, Kyle Rayner, a Green Lantern, was captured and possessed by Parallax, amplifying the threat to the Green Lantern Corps. In response, the Guardians of the Universe, leaders of the Green Lantern Corps, amended their laws to authorize lethal force against the Sinestro Corps. This escalation led to intense battles, including a significant struggle in New York City. The conflict concluded with the defeat of the Sinestro Corps, the imprisonment of Sinestro, and the revelation of a prophecy concerning the Blackest Night, which foretold the rise of additional Corps based on different emotions, setting the stage for future cosmic events in the DC Universe. Final Crisis is a pivotal DC Comics event written by Grant Morrison, with art by J.G. Jones, Doug Mahnke, and others, published as a 7-issue limited series from July 2008 to March 2009. The story centers on the ultimate battle between good and evil, as Darkseid, the tyrannical ruler of Apocalypse, orchestrates a plan to enslave all of reality using the anti-life equation, a formula that eliminates free will. The narrative is complex, blending metaphysical concepts with superhero action, and serves as a culmination of themes introduced in earlier DC events like Crisis on Infinite Earths and Infinite Crisis. The event begins with the murder of Orion, Darkseid's son, which triggers a chain of events leading to Darkseid's descent to Earth. Using human avatars, Darkseid and his followers infiltrate society, spreading the anti-life equation and plunging the world into chaos. Heroes like Batman, Superman, and the Flash are thrust into a desperate struggle to stop Darkseid's conquest. A key moment occurs when Batman confronts Darkseid and fires a Radion bullet, a weapon lethal to new gods, but is seemingly killed in the process. This act of defiance becomes a turning point in the resistance against Darkseid's tyranny. As the crisis deepens, the fabric of reality begins to unravel, with time and space collapsing due to Darkseid's influence. The Flash, Wally West, plays a crucial role by using his speed to outrun the anti-life equation and inspire hope in others. Meanwhile, Superman is sent on a cosmic journey to retrieve the essence of the original New Gods, who had been displaced by Darkseid's actions. The story reaches its climax when Darkseid's physical form is destroyed, but his essence lingers, threatening to drag all of existence into a black hole of despair. The resolution involves Superman using a cosmic artifact called the Miracle Machine to rewrite reality, restoring hope and free will. Batman, believed dead, is revealed to have been sent back in time, setting up future storylines. Final Crisis concludes with the defeat of Darkseid and the preservation of the multiverse, but at a great cost. The event is notable for its philosophical depth, exploring themes of hope, despair, and the resilience of the human spirit. It also introduces new concepts, such as the multiverse's map and the idea of story as a fundamental force in the DC universe. Final Crisis has a lasting impact on DC Comics, influencing subsequent stories like The Multiversity, 2014-2015, and Dark Knight's Metal, 2017-2018. Its intricate narrative and ambitious scope make it a defining moment in DC's history, blending high-stakes action with profound thematic exploration. The event remains a cornerstone of Grant Morrison's work and a testament to the enduring complexity of the DC universe. Blackest Night is a DC Comics event written by Jeff Johns with art by Ivan Rice, published as an 8-issue series from July 2009 to March 2010. The story revolves around the Black Lantern Corps, an army of reanimated dead beings powered by black power rings which seek to eradicate all life and emotion in the universe. The event is the culmination of Johns' work on the Green Lantern mythos, building on the emotional spectrum introduced in earlier stories. The emotional spectrum consists of various colored Lantern Corps, each representing a different emotion, such as green for willpower, red for rage, and blue for hope. The Black Lanterns, however, represent death and are driven by the absence of emotion. The narrative begins with the rise of the Black Lantern Corps, led by Nekron, a primordial entity of death. Nekron's goal is to extinguish all life and bring the universe into eternal darkness. The Black Lanterns reanimate deceased heroes and villains, including characters like Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, and the original Firestorm, using them as soldiers in their war against the living. The living heroes, including Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Barry Allen, The Flash, and the Justice League, must unite to combat this overwhelming threat. The story explores themes of loss, grief, and the resilience of life in the face of death. A key element of the conflict is the emotional spectrum, as the heroes discover that the Black Lanterns can only be defeated by combining the powers of all the Lantern Corps. This leads to the creation of the White Lantern, a being of life and rebirth, which becomes central to the battle against Nekron. The climax involves Hal Jordan and Barry Allen confronting Nekron with the help of the resurrected heroes and the combined forces of the emotional spectrum. The story concludes with the defeat of Necron and the restoration of life, but not without significant consequences, as the event reshapes the DC universe and sets the stage for future storylines. Blackest Night is notable for its exploration of the emotional spectrum and its impact on the Green Lantern mythos. It also features the return of several deceased characters, adding emotional weight to the narrative. The event has lasting effects on the DC universe, influencing subsequent stories like Brightest Day, 2010 to 2011, and War of the Green Lanterns, 2011. By blending cosmic action with deep emotional themes, Blackest Night stands as a defining moment in DC Comics, offering a compelling and impactful exploration of life, death, and the power of emotion. Flashpoint is a DC Comics event written by Jeff Johns, with art by Andy Kubert, published as a 5-issue series from May to August 2011. The story centers on Barry Allen, the Flash, who wakes up in an alternate timeline, where the world is drastically different. In this reality, Barry has no powers, his mother is alive, and the Justice League never formed. The world is on the brink of collapse due to a war between Wonder Woman's Amazons and Aquaman's Atlanteans, which has devastated entire continents and threatens global annihilation. Barry must regain his powers and restore the timeline, but doing so comes with significant consequences. The event begins with Barry discovering that his actions in the past, specifically his attempt to save his mother from being murdered, have created this fractured reality. Key differences include Bruce Wayne being killed as a child, leading his father, Thomas Wayne, to become a ruthless version of Batman, and Superman being held captive by the government since childhood, never becoming the hero he was meant to be. Barry teams up with Thomas Wayne's Batman and a group of resistance fighters, including Cyborg, to stop the war and find a way to fix the timeline. The story explores themes of loss, responsibility, and the unintended consequences of altering history. A pivotal moment occurs when Barry regains his powers and attempts to recreate the accident that originally gave him his speed. With the help of Thomas Wayne's Batman, he succeeds, but the process is fraught with danger. The climax involves Barry confronting Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who reveals that he manipulated events to create this timeline as a way to punish Barry. The story concludes with Barry using his restored powers to reset the timeline, but not before Thomas Wayne gives him a letter to deliver to Bruce in the restored reality, adding an emotional layer to the resolution. Flashpoint has far-reaching implications for the DC universe, as the restoration of the timeline leads to the creation of the New 52, a company-wide reboot that reimagined DC's characters and continuity. The event is notable for its exploration of alternate realities and its impact on the broader DC mythos. By blending personal stakes with large-scale consequences, Flashpoint serves as a pivotal moment in DC Comics, reshaping its universe and setting the stage for new storytelling opportunities. The event remains a defining chapter in the Flash's history and a testament to the enduring appeal of time travel narratives in superhero comics. Forever Evil, 2013 to 2014, is a DC Comics crossover event that marked the first major crossover after the New 52 reboot, focusing on the DC Universe's villains. The plot begins when the Crime Syndicate, an evil counterpart to the Justice League from Earth 3, invades Earth 0. The Crime Syndicate consists of Ultraman, a powerful, corrupted version of Superman, Superwoman, an evil counterpart of Wonder Woman, Owlman, a twisted version of Batman, Johnny Quick, a super speedster like the Flash, Power Ring, a corrupted Green Lantern, and Deathstorm, a dark counterpart of Firestorm. They imprison Earth's heroes in the Firestorm Matrix and use this opportunity to conquer Earth. In response, villains from Earth 0, led by Lex Luthor, form the Injustice League to oppose the Crime Syndicate's reign. Batman's adversaries, including Bane, Catwoman, and others, also engage in the conflict, each with their own agenda during the upheaval. The event concludes with the return of the Justice League, leading to a final battle with the Crime Syndicate, which reshapes the DC universe, setting up future conflicts and developments. Convergence ran from April to June 2015, featuring a main series and multiple tie-ins. The story unfolds after Flashpoint 2011 and the New 52 reboot, with the multiverse fragmented. Brainiac, an extraterrestrial intelligence known for collecting cities, gathers locations from different realities and places them on Telos, a planet he created as a battleground. Each city represents a timeline, forcing heroes and villains from various eras to fight for survival. Superman, the powerful protector of Earth with superhuman abilities, appears in his New 52 form. Batman, a master detective and strategist, uses his intellect and combat skills to navigate the crisis. Wonder Woman, an Amazon warrior with immense strength, leads efforts to unite the heroes. The pre-New 52 versions of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman also emerge, creating conflict between different incarnations generations. The Flash, a speedster capable of time manipulation, and Green Lantern, a ring wielder powered by will, play key roles. As characters from various realities battle, the event explores themes of legacy, identity, and the struggle between different versions of heroes. The heroes ultimately unite against Brainiac, leading to the restoration of multiple realities and reshaping the DC Universe's future. Convergence reaffirms the significance of past continuities and expands the multiverse's role in future stories. Dark Knight's Metal is a DC Comics event written by Scott Snyder, with art by Greg Capullo, published as a 6-issue series from August 2017 to March 2018. The story explores the concept of the Dark Multiverse, a twisted reflection of the main DC multiverse where nightmares become reality. The event begins with Batman's discovery of a mysterious metal called Nth Metal, which leads him to uncover a larger threat involving Barbatos, a dark god who seeks to invade the main multiverse. Barbatos is revealed to be an ancient entity tied to the Batman mythos, and his plan involves using the Dark Multiverse to overwhelm and destroy the positive matter universes. The narrative centers on the Justice League's efforts to stop Barbatos and his army of Dark Knights, alternate versions of Batman from the Dark Multiverse. These Dark Knights are twisted reflections of Batman, each representing a different fear or failure, such as the Batman Who Laughs, a fusion of Batman and the Joker. As the heroes battle these nightmarish versions of Batman, they learn that the Dark Multiverse is fueled by fear and despair, and its existence threatens to consume all of reality. The story also introduces the concept of the Source Wall, a cosmic barrier that separates the multiverse from the unknown realms beyond, which plays a key role in the conflict. Key moments include the Justice League's journey through the Dark Multiverse, where they confront their own fears and failures. Batman is captured by Barbatos and used as a conduit to breach the Source Wall, while Superman, Wonder Woman, and other heroes rally to stop the invasion. The climax involves the heroes harnessing the power of the Nth Metal and the forces of the multiverse to fight back against Barbatos and the Dark Knights. The story concludes with the defeat of Barbatos and the sealing of the Dark Multiverse, but not without consequences, as the Source Wall is damaged, unleashing new threats. The event has significant implications for the DC Universe, introducing new concepts like the Dark Multiverse and the Batman Who Laughs, who becomes a recurring antagonist in later stories. It also sets the stage for future events such as Justice League No Justice 2018 and Year of the Villain 2019, which explore the fallout from the Source Wall's destruction. Dark Knight's Metal is celebrated for its high-energy storytelling, intricate world-building, and bold reinvention of DC's cosmic mythology. By blending superhero action with dark, fantastical elements, the event stands as a defining chapter in DC Comics, expanding the scope of its multiverse and challenging its heroes in unprecedented ways. Doomsday Clock ran from November 2017 to December 2019 in 12 issues. Serving as a sequel to Watchmen 1986 to 1987, it merges the Watchmen universe with the DC universe. Dr. Manhattan, a godlike being who manipulates time, matter, and reality, destabilizes existence through his detached experiments. Ozymandias, a strategist known for elaborate schemes, seeks to unite heroes from both worlds to prevent disaster caused by Dr. Manhattan's interference. Batman, a master detective and martial artist dedicated to justice, investigates Manhattan's influence on reality. Superman, a symbol of hope and heroism, struggles to understand how Manhattan's actions reshape the world. Wonder Woman, an Amazon warrior with leadership skills and superhuman strength, navigates the unfolding crisis. Manhattan's timeline alterations create an existential crisis for heroes, leading to a final confrontation. The story concludes with the restoration of balance, reinforcing the significance of legacy and shaping future DC storylines. Doomsday Clock explores power, morality, and reality, while bridging two iconic universes. Infinite Frontier began in March 2021 with a one-shot issue, followed by series expanding on its impact. Taking place after Death Metal 2020, it explores the re-established multiverse and its consequences on identity, heroism, and reality. Wonder Woman, a warrior symbolizing hope and strength, investigates the multiverse's transformation and emerging dangers. Batman, a master detective and strategist, uncovers mysteries tied to past decisions and their multiversal effects. Superman, a beacon of truth and justice, navigates his evolving legacy in the expanded multiverse. John Stewart, a Green Lantern whose willpower fuels his energy-based constructs, plays a key role in defending reality. Darkseid, a cosmic tyrant obsessed with absolute control, seeks dominion over the multiverse, eliminating opposition. The revived multiverse introduces numerous Earths, each with unique versions of heroes and villains. Justice Incarnate, a multiversal team protecting existence, features Captain Carrot, a heroic rabbit from a cartoon like Earth, and President Superman, a noble leader from an alternate reality. The event emphasizes legacy, adaptation, and confronting old threats in new forms. Its conclusion reshapes the DC universe, solidifying an ever-evolving multiverse and setting up future storylines. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths ran from June to December 2022 in 7 issues. After Justice League number 75, 2022, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter appear to be killed by Pariah and the Dark Army. Pariah, a scientist from Crisis on Infinite Earths, 1985 to 1986, responsible for the multiverse's collapse, seeks to restore it using the Great Darkness, an ancient force of destruction. The Great Darkness threatens reality as Pariah leads an assault with the Dark Army, a group of corrupted beings including Darkseid, Doomsday, Ares, and evil versions of heroes. With the Justice League trapped in separate pocket worlds, Earth is left unprotected, forcing John Kent, Nightwing, Wally West, Yara Flor, and the Teen Titans to defend it. John Kent, inheriting Superman's powers and ideals, assumes leadership. Wally West, a speedster and successor to Barry Allen, guides younger heroes. Nightwing, a skilled fighter and strategist, leads the resistance. Yara Flor, an Amazon warrior, carries Wonder Woman's legacy into battle. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, powerful Green Lanterns, fight against the darkness. Zatanna, a sorceress, and Dr. Fate, a mystical guardian, play key roles in the conflict. The event ends with the multiverse restored, reversing changes from Death Metal 2020. It sets up future storylines like Lazarus Planet 2023 and Dawn of DC 2023 to 2024, while reinforcing the importance of legacy heroes and the ongoing battle to protect existence. In Superman vs. The Amazing Spider-Man 1976, Kal-El is a powerful hero from Metropolis who responds to a giant robot attack by Lex Luthor at Star Laboratories. Kal-El destroys the machine, stops Luthor from stealing a programming circuit, then captures Luthor in battle. Peter Parker is a New York hero who halts a break-in at a museum by Dr. Octopus. Peter defeats the villain's henchman but is knocked out when Octopus uses a flying robotic ship. Peter recovers, defeats Octopus, and sells photos to J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle. In Maximum X Security Penitentiary in New Mexico, Luthor and Otto Octavius meet. They escape, unite their plans to seize world domination through weather control, and plant false leads to turn their enemies against each other. At a World News Conference in New York City, Lois Lane and Mary Jane Watson are abducted by someone posing as Kal-El. Both Parker and Kent react, transforming into their hero forms. They clash because Parker briefly gains red sun radiation-based strength from Luthor and misjudges Kal. Once the effect dissipates and the real Kal-El speaks, both understand they have been manipulated. Kal-El and Peter track the villains from New York to a warehouse, then to a village near Mount Kilimanjaro, and ultimately into orbit on a satellite used by the Injustice Gang. On that satellite, Luthor seizes control of ComLab's laser probe, intending global extortion. The villains capture both heroes briefly. Luthor reveals their plan to trigger a weather system chain reaction for $10 billion. Otto Octavius opposes the plan once he realizes it will destroy the planet and sabotages a control panel. Meanwhile, Kal-El flies to intercept a coastal tidal wave generated by the satellite weapon and dispels it using supersonic speed. Peter remains on the satellite, defeating Otto Octavius and Luthor. Kal-El captures one villain. Peter webs up the other and ensures both are returned to prison. Kal-El returns Lois Lane and Peter Parker returns Mary Jane Watson. The four enjoy a double date as the story concludes. This marked the first major Marvel DC superhero crossover. In Batman vs. The Incredible Hulk 1981, Bruce Banner is an expert scientist working at Wayne Research on a gamma gun in hope of curing his transformation into the Hulk, a powerful green-skinned alter ego triggered by anger. While testing the gamma gun at a Gotham City Riverside lab, Banner encounters the Joker, a criminal mastermind intent on stealing the device to benefit from the cooperation of the Shaper of Worlds, an alien entity capable of reshaping reality by using others' minds. The Joker unleashes laughing gas on staff, sparing Banner only until Banner puts on a protective helmet. Joker's heist triggers Banner's transformation into the Hulk. The Hulk attacks Joker's gang and draws the attention of Batman, a vigilant crime fighter dedicated to safeguarding Gotham, who arrives to stop the robbery. Joker convinces the Hulk that Batman is his foe, prompting the Hulk to pummel the hero. Batman uses knockout gas from his utility belt and a precise solar plexus kick to subdue the Hulk. Joker escapes with the gamma gun and presents it to the Shaper of Worlds, whose fading power the Joker hopes to restore. The alien realizes that Hulk's gamma radiation Batman can revive him, so he instructs the Joker to bring Hulk to him. Joker tracks Hulk into Gotham's depths and uses the bat signal to manipulate Batman into a temporary alliance to locate the Hulk. Batman and Joker discover Hulk, now accompanied by an illusion of a kindly old blind man. This illusion is actually Batman in disguise using a rubber mask. Batman convinces Hulk to follow them to the Shaper's warehouse near Gotham Docks. Inside the warehouse, the Shaper of Worlds summons nightmarish versions of villains, including Abomination, Killer Moth, Leader, Rhino, Scarecrow, and Two-Face to challenge Batman and Hulk. Hulk destroys the illusions and unleashes his anger on the Shaper, whose power is restored by the gamma radiation. Empowered, the Shaper grants Joker reality warping ability, allowing Joker to reshape the environment at will. Batman confronts Joker in a battle of wills and mind against chaos until Joker's psyche breaks under the strain and he collapses. In the aftermath, Joker is detained by Gotham police and Shaper returns to his dimension. Hulk reverts to Banner, who disappears. Batman and Commissioner Jim Gordon find no trace of Banner, and Batman allows him to vanish, believing Banner should remain free. In the Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans, 1982, the tyrannical alien Darkseid is depicted as seeking to breach the Source Wall, a cosmic boundary that contains untold power. He believes the Phoenix Force, a remnant of Jean Grey's former power, can help him break that barrier. He allies with the new god Metron, who briefly pierces the wall and provides Darkseid access to its energy. Darkseid sends mechanized parademons and the mercenary Deathstroke the Terminator to Earth. The parademons secretly invade the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters in Westchester and remove psychic traces of Jean Grey from several X-Men, including Scott Summers, Aurora Munro, Piotr Rasputin, Kurt Wagner, Kitty Pryde, and Logan. A disturbing hallucination of Jean awakens Kitty and alerts the others. At Titan's Tower on a nearby island, Raven experiences a prophetic dream of a fiery bird of flame. Coriander, a Tamarinian refugee with energy-absorbing abilities, recognizes that image as Phoenix. She calls in Dick Grayson, Donna Troy, Wally West, Victor Stone, and Garfield Logan to investigate. The Titans locate Dick battling Deathstroke and parademons at Star Labs in Gotham City and are defeated. The X-Men attack a New Mexico facility where Deathstroke is siphoning Phoenix energy. They destroy the device, but are overwhelmed and taken captive. Both teams are transported via boom tubes to the Source Wall. Darkseid captures them with Deathstroke's aid and constructs a machine to reawaken Dark Phoenix using the X-Men's fragmented memories and gathered residue. Once revived, Dark Phoenix joins Darkseid. The heroes break free and encounter Metron's abandoned Mobius chair. Charles Xavier uses telepathy to transport both groups back to New York City. Underneath Central Park, the combined force of the X-Men and Titans confronts Darkseid, Dark Phoenix, Deathstroke, and additional parademons. Colossus disrupts Darkseid's energy-gathering efforts. Cyclops and Xavier reach Jean's consciousness within Phoenix, reminding her of who she is. Jean sacrifices herself and turns on Darkseid, triggering an explosion that erases both villains. Metron reclaims the Mobius chair near the ruined Source Wall, which now bears Darkseid's image as part of its structure. DC vs. Marvel is a 4-issue crossover miniseries released between February and May 1996, with issue number 1 and number 4 under DC vs. Marvel, and issues number 2 to number 3 titled Marvel vs. DC. The storyline centers on two immensely powerful beings called the Brothers, who each represent the entire DC or Marvel universe and issue a challenge. Each will force champions from the opposite universe to battle, with the losing cosmos facing erasure. The first issue begins when the brothers use a mysterious box to pull heroes into their counterpart universe. Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, who has enhanced reflexes and illusion-breaking spider sense, finds himself in Gotham and faces Joker. Captain America, Stephen Rogers, a peak human soldier with an unbreakable shield, is transported mid-fight into Gotham sewers to battle Bane. Meanwhile, Steel, John Henry Irons, an armored engineer, confronts Absorbing Man, Carl Crusher Creel, and Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, a ring wielder capable of manifesting constructs, Duel's Green Goblin. These confrontations set the stage for the global contest. Over issues number 2 to number 3, 11 battles occur. 6 results are scripted by the creators Ron Mars and Peter David. DC's scripted wins include Aquaman, Arthur Curry, who commands sea life and water over Namor the Submariner, Tim Drake, Robin, a detective-minded youth, over Jubilee, energy-bursting mutant, and Flash, Wally West, a speedster, over Quicksilver, Pietro Maximoff, a Marvel speedster. Marvel scripted victories include Thor, an Asgardian war god, over Captain Marvel, Elektra, an expert assassin, over Catwoman, Selena Kyle, a feline acrobat, and Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd, a cosmic-powered herald, over Green Lantern. 5 remaining showdowns were decided by reader ballots. Spider-Man over Superboy, a young Kryptonian clone. Wolverine, Logan, a regenerating mutant, over Lobo, an immortal bounty hunter. Superman, a superpowered alien, over Hulk, a gamma-powered giant. Batman, over Captain America. And Storm, a weather-controlling mutant, over Wonder Woman, Diana of Themyscira, an Amazonian warrior. These outcomes left Marvel with 6 wins and DC with 5. Despite Marvel's slight edge, the brothers remain at stalemate. stalemate. Axel Asher, a man who can travel between both universes, intervenes. He combines fragments of both realities into token heroes, Batman and Captain America, creating hybrid beings Dark Claw, Logan Wayne, and Super Soldier, Clark Kent Rogers, and initiates a temporary merger called the Amalgam Universe. During issue number 4, Access, accompanied by Spectre, a spirit judge of moral balance, and Living Tribunal, an omnipotent cosmic adjudicator, separates the merged reality. As the brothers prepare for a final clash in their dimension, Access brings Batman and Captain America to the battlefield. The brothers are moved by the hero's courage and mutual respect. They thus agree to cease hostilities and restore both universes to their original form. The Amalgam Universe gave birth to 12 one-shot fusion titles in April 1996, 6 published by DC and 6 by Marvel, blending characters like Batman, Wolverine, Dark Claw, and Superman, Captain America, Super Soldier. In summary, DC vs. Marvel combines 11 hero battles decided by creative intent and fan vote, climaxes in a shared Amalgam universe, and resolves through mediation by cosmic arbiters and the example of 2 noble Earthbound heroes. Unlimited Access is a 4-issue crossover miniseries co-published from December 1997 to March 1998, continuing the story of Axel Asher, known as Access, who can traverse both universes. In issue number 1, Access returns from a previous mission and realizes his ability now includes travel through time. While at Empire State University with his girlfriend Ming Kuo Fan, he transports her away from an attack by Mantis of the New Gods and confronts both Juggernaut and Wonder Woman, a time-displaced Amazon warrior. Spider-Man helps subdue Juggernaut and Mantis before both return to their home universes. Issue number 2 shows Access struggling with uncontrolled dimensional shifts. He encounters Hulk in a berserker state and then meets Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, who helps calm the rampage before both return to their proper timelines. A portal malfunction places Access in the Old West, where he meets bounty hunter Jonah Hex and gunfighter Two Gun Kid. He sends Two Gun Kid home and nearly loses Hex between worlds. Issue number 3 centers on a cosmic threat when Darkseid joins forces with Magneto, Master of Magnetism, to manipulate time and universes. They deploy Sentinel robots and threaten both Earth 616 and New Earth. Access responds by uniting heroes including Avengers, Justice League of America, X-Men 616, and Legion of Superheroes to confront the Alliance. Issue number 4 unfolds the climax as the cosmic duo's plan nears success. Access fuses members from both universes into amalgam heroes such as Captain America Jr., hybrid of Marvel's Captain America and DC's Captain Marvel Jr., Thor-El, fusion of Marvel's Thor and DC's Superman, Goliath Verde, Green Lantern and Golia, Jean Black, Marvel Girl and Black Canary, Redwing, Robin and Angel, Quick Freeze, Impulse and Iceman, Wonder Wasp, Wasp and Wonder Girl, and an X-League team combining Avengers, Justice League, and X-Men. These amalgam characters repel Darkseid and Magneto before Access restores each hero to their original universe. The miniseries ends with both universes return to their own timelines, and Access's power controlled. In JLA Avengers 2003, the story begins when Krona, a banished Own scientist obsessed with discovering the origin of existence, destroys countless realities before reaching the Marvel Universe and confronting Grandmaster, a cosmic competitor drawn to challenges. Grandmaster proposes a contest to Krona. Each will select champions, the Avengers defending Marvel and the Justice League defending DC, in a race to collect 12 cosmic artifacts. Krona assigns the Avengers to gather 6 DC relics: the Spear of Destiny, the Book of Eternity, the Orb of Ra, the Medusa Mask, the combined Bell, Jar, and Wheel of the Demons 3, and Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern Power Battery. Grandmaster tasks the Justice League with retrieving 6 Marvel items: the Ultimate Nullifier, the Evil Eye of Avalon, the Wand of Watum, the Casket of Ancient Winters, the Cosmic Cube, and the Infinity Gauntlet. Issue number 1 begins with Krona erasing Polemarchus and the Crime Syndicate's reality before the Justice League confronts Terminus in Keystone City and Avengers repel Starro in New York. Spectre banishes Terminus and Starro retreats. Each team receives guidance. Metron gives Avengers a mother box to traverse worlds. Grandmaster briefs Justice League via their moon base. Flash travels to Earth 616, courts danger from anti-mutant crowds, and realizes the Speed Force is absent there. During issue number 2, the teams clash and then split to collect artifacts. Wonder Woman and Aquaman face off against Hercules and She-Hulk in Asgard. Hawkman, Black Canary, and Blue Beetle challenge Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver at the Flash Museum. Robin and Hawkeye, Atom and Yellowjacket, Green Lantern and Iron Man each pursue separate objects. The Justice League secure the Orb of Ra, Evil Eye of Avalon, Bell of Uthul, Wheel of Njorloth, Red Jar of Calathos, and Book of Eternity. The Avengers grab the Ultimate Nullifier, Spear of Destiny, Wand of Watum, Casket of Ancient Winters, and Infinity Gems. Flash wins the Infinity Gauntlet. Issue number 3 depicts a massive final clash in the Savage Land for the Cosmic Cube, featuring dozens of heroes. Quicksilver seizes the cube, tying the tally 6-6. Captain America intentionally deflects it to Batman, tipping the score to 7-5 in Justice League's favor. Krona then summons Galactus, intending to extract exact cosmic secret. Grandmaster channels the 12 items to merge both universes into one to stop Krona before destruction. Issue number 4 shows reality distorted. Heroes remember the contest via a spectral Krona and are guided by Phantom Stranger. Avengers and Justice League unite to infiltrate Krona's stronghold, constructed from Galactus's remains. Captain America leads, Superman wields Mjolnir, Flash distracts Krona, while Hawkeye fires an explosive arrow into the artifact chamber. The sequence frees Eternity and Kismet, collapsing Krona into a cosmic egg. Spectre restores the universes, returning heroes to their respective realities while affirming their roles. Cosmic Egg remains on Justice League Watchtower for study. Metron anticipates it may hatch future universal knowledge. This event represents a fully realized intercompany crossover, resolving with unity and cosmic balance through heroic intervention.